Hello friends, welcome to my gaming channel. Today's video, we're doing our speed build of the vet clinic that I already posted the first person walkthrough for, so if you haven't seen it, check it out after this one because it's kind of like the cherry on top. It's kind of crazy that I'm recording this. I did not think that I would be like a long form content creator when it came to games, but I don't know, seems like the right thing to do, so we'll try it out for now. So this is the first build in Newcrest, which if you've played The Sims, then you know that Newcrest is an open world of possibilities because it's just a world of empty lots, and I chose one of the biggest lots for this build, which was kind of crazy on my part, but it definitely taught me a few things along the way, which we will get into. So I started off with a couple rooms. I modeled this roughly after the same style of vet clinic that's also in Brindlewood, which comes with the cats and dogs, or like My First Pets. I can't actually remember which one it is because I don't have cats and dogs, I don't think. I just have My First Pets, and it gave me Brindlewood and all of the build items. But I modeled this build roughly after the one that's already in game, which in hindsight, we definitely could have gone with a more creative choice, but here's my reasoning behind it, and it's simply because anytime I think of creating a new build, I forget what any other building I've ever been in my entire life looks like. So as much as I want to do more creative builds, I think we'll get there in the future. Like right now I'm currently working on a bookstore, so hopefully that will be up within the next month or so, given how long it actually takes to edit these things. And I have a cat cafe that I built right after this, so technically we're two builds behind right now, but don't fret. Don't fret. So like I said, I modeled this pretty much after the vet clinic in Brindlewood, except I changed two things about it. I did more with the backyard and I added a second floor. And I knew pretty quickly when I was getting into this build that I wanted to have like a backyard vibe that was fit for training your animals, training your pets. So I put together the foundation of this house, and then we went outside and I added an obstacle course. That was one of the first things that we did here, obviously, but I liked how it turned out a lot and I thought it was a lot of fun. And when I was editing the lot traits and the trait panel, I added like training grounds as one of them, so people can bring their pets there and train them, or they can just get checkups or whatever. That's the fun part of The Sims, is you get to pretend and use your imagination. It's like being a little kid all over again. One thing that I was hyped about too is because I downloaded the high school years pack, I ended up getting bathroom stalls, which was kind of huge because there's no other place besides the high school, at least in my experience that I know of. I don't have all of the packs or all of the worlds unlocked, so I could be wrong here, but in my experience, there are not a lot of bathrooms with like stalls in them, so multiple Sims at once can't go to the bathroom. It's one Sim at a time. And so I added 4 stalls, so 2 at a time can go into the bathrooms. And while it is a simple luxury, it is something that I was excited about. A while ago, I got the Blooming Rooms pack. All of the plant decorations, one thing about me, girl, is I'm always going to throw plants into the build. I am going to fit plants wherever I can because I love how it livens and brightens up a space. I think plants are just the perfect addition to like any room. If you're missing a decor, if you need filler decor, use plants. One thing that I do wish though is that we had more plants. I would really appreciate something that kind of like droops or hangs off of like bookshelves or something like that that still allows the bookshelf to be used. And I also knew that I wanted the outdoor space, like the back patio, to be just like really communal and really comfortable. So we added a nice back patio, some outdoor toys, a nice seating area, as you'll see in a little bit. And it turned into a vibe. I liked it. I could spend, a couple hours out there watching the sunset or hanging out, watching the dogs do the little obstacle course. And one thing about me is I really like the fenced in like porch vibe. I think that it's so cute and it's just like so homey and so cozy, and I like adding that element to a lot of my builds because I don't know, I'm a cozy girl. One thing about me is I'm gonna make it cozy. I'm gonna make it a comfortable space. I feel like this is pretty obvious and goes without saying, but the pet pack made building this just so easy. Like these windows were absolutely perfect for the front of the building, the sides of the building. I really like the windows from the pet pack, not for everything, but I do think they have some pretty good options that are different and sometimes nicer than the base game windows. I do not play with mods and I do not play with CC, although since finishing this build and starting two others, I have been very tempted, very extremely tempted to download some CC. I just am scared to get a virus and I am scared to bog down my computer with too much shit. I really don't need to spend extra time either shopping for a CC. I think I could get pretty distracted and go down a rabbit hole of that. So maybe one day in the future, but I'm really trying to stay strong to not using mods and not using CC. But with that being said, I am going to use cheats, okay? There's just, you got me all the way if you think that I'm gonna work for my money in The Sims, okay? My time is valuable. And we're gonna cheat. We're gonna use that money cheat. I also really love to use move objects and show hidden objects because I actually haven't learned why show hidden objects is a thing, but there are just so much extra stuff in there, and some of it is kind of strange. I guess is the word we could use. Some of it is kind of strange. Like there's crystals and there's tanks and empty photo frames and just like all kinds of stuff. So there's definitely a big miscellaneous bunch of hidden items that you can use to decorate. So I think my favorite part of building in Sims is the decor part. I know a lot of people actually prefer doing the framework and doing the outside. I haven't really figured out, like I'm not as confident doing that, I guess. Like to me, I feel pretty limited to one style, but building up on the inside, furnishing the inside, decorating the inside, I love that so much. I love adding a butter. I love being a maximalist. Like I will just put as much as I can in there, and I still think I'm fully figuring out how to tap into that because I don't know, I feel like we could have definitely added more going through this, editing this, after like seeing it again for the 15th million time in the last 2 weeks since I've been done with it. There mayhaps could have been a little bit more added to it, but I overall was really proud with this. I think I did a good job, and we cluttered the house boots. So a lot of this is just building, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like adding filler, and there's really no rhyme or reason except when we get to the treatment rooms, you'll see that I have them color coded, and that was something that I decided last minute as I was building that I wanted to do. I don't go into these builds with any preemptive planning, but I did realize when I was in the middle that I wanted these treatment rooms to be color coded. I thought it would be a slay. You only get like 5 or 6 color options in the pet pack for all the like machines and clinical stuff and like laboratories and surgery units that you need for actually having a functional business for a veterinary office. There are requirements that you have to make when you set a lot to be anything other than residential, like if you choose a business, and I don't have the businesses and hobbies pack yet. I do plan to get it so that way we can take this to like the next level. But as far as just like base game changing from residential to a business, there are requirements that you have to meet, and I imagine that it would be the same for businesses and hobbies as well. But so like for this, you need surgery units, you need a laboratory, you need the little platforms that raise and lower the patients. I forget what they're called, and those only come in like this many colors, so I was like, let's make the most of it. So like I said, a lot of this is just filler building, whatever. You can really see as I'm going that I'm just going room by room with this. So I think now we could do a little bit of chatting, and I could kind of maybe tell you guys a little bit about me. I know a good portion of my audience, my 11 subscribers at the time of filming, followed me over from my makeup account. But if you don't know, hi, I'm Maddie. I do makeup. I've done makeup for, how old am I? Almost 10 years at this point. I love doing creative makeup. I spent the last few years building up. It's been a slow process, but a makeup platform on Instagram and TikTok as well as YouTube. I've been doing makeup videos, makeup tutorials, lifestyle vlogs, and makeup lives as well. So since there's just a lot of building and decorating and like filler happening, I figure we can kind of chat and I could introduce myself better and help you guys get to know me. So hi, I'm Maddie. I'm 26, almost 27. My birthday is at the end of July, and I am a mom. I have one kid, he's 5 years old, and I have 4 dogs and 3 cats. This life is a busy one, girl, let me tell you. I've also been a makeup artist for the last 8.5 years, and I've spent the majority of the last 4 years trying to build up a presence online, doing makeup tutorials, makeup lives, lifestyle vlogs, just sharing my personality with the world. One thing about me is I didn't actually ever play The Sims until I was probably 22. My mom never let me play The Sims. Hi, Mom, if you're watching. Hi, girl. Which kind of makes sense, you know, there's some interesting stuff that can go down in The Sims, but then when I got to an age where I think that my mom would have definitely been more open with me playing The Sims, I was uninterested because I was in love with Skyrim and Fallout. I just had forgotten that Sims was even something that like sparked an interest for me. I started playing games when I was probably like 5 years old. I remember playing on the original Xbox. I remember playing on the PS2 and the PS3 and the PS4, etc. I actually still have my PS3, that old relic, that old girl, old faithful. And I would play a lot of RPG games. Skyrim and Fallout were just my all-time favorite games ever. And, you know, we threw in a little bit of Little Big Planet and some other games I probably can't remember right now because truthfully Fallout and Skyrim had me by the throat. So my first time playing The Sims is when I was like 22 years old, and I was hooked instantly. Let me tell you, I fell in love instantaneously. I love this game so much. It is my favorite like cozy game, I guess you could say. So shortly after I had my kiddo and I was spending a lot of time alone, the beginning stages of being a mom can be kind of lonely while you're trying to navigate and figure out what your life looks like now. Especially I was 21 when I had my son, so I was pretty young. But when he was about 2 years old, I was like, you know what, like, Mama wants to play games. And so I actually downloaded The Sims on my MacBook, and I started getting into like CC and mods on my Mac. But as you can imagine, that ran her down. I had a little MacBook Air. We were putting her to work. And then fast forward 2 years, I ended up upgrading to a MacBook Pro, and it would not run The Sims. It would not. I don't know what the issue was, and so I just kind of took my L, accepted my fate, and I didn't play The Sims for a long time. And that's kind of when I turned my focus into playing Fortnite. I am a big Fortnite lover. I'm a big Fortnite enthusiast. My Pookies and I play Fortnite together almost every night, and you know, we're kind of mid, but we look cute and we have a lot of fun while we do. After about a year of playing Fortnite and participating in streamer streams and, you know, modding for certain streamers, or just, you know, like being part of the gaming slash streaming world and community, I decided that this is kind of something that I wanted to do too. Like, this seems like a lot of fun. I really don't expect it to take me anywhere, but if we can share the vibes and if we can have fun, that seems incredibly worth it to me. So, as you can tell, we made it upstairs, and I gave them the cutest little kitchenette and like sleeping area. Whenever I have played The Sims and I have run my own vet clinic, you're allowed to be open for 23 hours a day. And let me tell you, I'm trying to make that coin, girl, so I work my workers 23 hours a day. I know, she's kind of crazy. She's kind of she's kind of a hard ass. We work them like dogs, no pun intended. And so I was like, you know what? It would just be a really cute, nice touch to have a little kitchenette and a bed, because one of my employees, when I ran my own vet clinic, would constantly sleep on the job, and it would piss me off. Like, I should have just fired her, but I felt kind of bad. I'd feel kind of bad for that. So this is a great way to make sure that you can run the full 23-hour day if you want to, and still afford your employees the opportunities to fulfill their needs. And I also made the decision that only like treatment beds were going to be downstairs. We weren't going to include any surgery centers or any laboratory, like lab testing, none of that. So I kept the downstairs all treatment rooms, and the upstairs is completely laboratory. Like, basically it's employees only up there, right? So once you like cross through that door and head up those stairs, you're in employee only territory, baby. I made the laboratory in corresponding colors. Everything is pink, blue, and green, because I just thought that was really cute, and I don't know, it just makes sense in my brain. And same thing for the surgery center as well, and they're separated by different rooms. I thought that it would help kind of bring the vibe together if everything could just be upstairs and like kind of away from the clients. And here's a tip if you're a beginner and you're watching, because if you're not a beginner, then you probably already know this, but when you go into your cheats and you activate the move objects cheat, if you use the alt button, you can move your item that you're holding onto anywhere that you want to. So it doesn't matter if it's halfway out of a wall or if it's overlapping another item, it will allow you to place it. And that's one thing that has changed the game for me for building and designing and decorating. Like I said before, I was playing on a MacBook. I did not know that you could use Alt to build like that. The thing is, too, I was using a trackpad. I didn't even have a mouse. So flash forward now, we have our whole PC set up. Hey, girl. And I've learned a trick or two on how to make building that much better in The Sims. In addition to the top floor being employees only, that's where I also included the desk where they can like further their research or just whatever, girl. You know, sometimes you got business emails to send. Maybe they want to check their socials. Who knows? Who knows? But the computer's there and they have mostly free will. I kind of feel like I've said all that I can truly say, so I'm going to leave you to it. I'll let you watch the rest of this build and I will come back to sign off and say goodbye. again, my friends, thanks for watching this video. I appreciate it if you made it all the way to this point because this was a long video. The footage of this originally was like 7.5 hours, and when I did the speed up on it, it took it down to 1 hour and 15, and my goal was to get it under 30 minutes. So I am proud to say that we're leaving her off at 27 minutes. That's pretty good. I feel pretty good about that. I really did have a lot of fun building this and recording it. Just the whole process was really cool. So if you enjoyed this and if you'd like to be part of my streams in the future, I do take suggestions from chat, so make sure you're following me on Twitch and TikTok. Right now I'm streaming TikTok on my makeup account until I can build it up to get live access on my gaming account. But I did just set up Spotify, so we will be able to listen to music over on TikTok, and I also set up some fun commands over there too so people can earn like points or coins or something like that. This whole process has been insane. I have been completely teaching myself everything. I have a lot of wonderful people in my life who are willing to help me out and are fabulous resources, but I do think that it is important to try and learn everything that I can on my own and on my own volition. I definitely don't want to take advantage of anyone else's time spent to understand what it takes to do this. It is a lot. A lot of people say just do it. I really don't think it's that simple, but I am out here just doing it. So, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched all the way to this point, thank you. That's for you. That's for you. Okay. And like I said, you can find me on Twitch and TikTok streaming. I also am posting my game content to Instagram. So if you want to give a girl a follow, if you want to support me elsewhere, you can find the links for that in the description box below. And again, one more giant thank you if you made it this far. I'm grateful for your time, and I'm grateful that you were interested in seeing what I had to offer on this build. So stay tuned for a cat cafe and a bookstore. I'm pretty excited for those. Bye, guys.